Hello, and on today's show,
What a great way to start.
this is just one of those days. Okay, on today's show, the guys talk about engaging learners. How are you meeting their interests and filling in the knowledge gaps? That's up next on EduTechGuys.
EduTechGuys Radio, radio.edutechguys.com.
The opinions expressed on this site and its programs are those of participants and not intended to and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of any specific educational entity, sponsor, company, state, or government agency.
Hello, and welcome to this episode of EduTechGuys Radio. I'm David Henderson.
Hey, and I'm Jeff Madlock.
Welcome to the show. We can make no promises today whatsoever.
It's been one of those days already. How many times did we false start this show? Maybe like 12?
Yes, somewhere in there. Maybe 13. Well, a cool baker's dozen.
A cool baker's dozen.
Holy smokes, man.
It's been one of those days already. It's been rough. Hey, listen, thanks for tuning in. And if you want to check us out on the web, go to www.edutechguys.com. That's EduTechGuys.com. Or just go to Google, type us in. I promise you're going to find us out there. You can also find us on Twitter.com/EduTechGuys. And you can find us pretty much on any social media. Just go out there and look for us. We're at the Insta Chat.
That's right.
And the Twittergram.
Exactly. Hey, and we want to say a special thanks to crossbraining.com and GoPro for promotional consideration on EduTech Guys Radio. Crossbraining.com is creating a universal learning community by sharing the best and most effective teaching methods and lessons through video and other technologies. Check them out, crossbraining.com.
Crossbraining.
There you go. Do they have a jingle? I don't know if they have a jingle.
I don't know if they have a jingle or not.
I don't know.
We need to find out.
We do. And,
we
then we could sing it. Oh, we could create one.
Ooh.
That's right.
You know, this beginning of school has been actually it's been one of my worst beginnings of school. Is it worst beginnings of school? Beginning of school? Schools? Beginning. Start of the year.
The worst. It was bad. Not like the Michael Jackson one either.
It's been pretty rough.
Yes.
It's not like anything wrong. It's just been a lot more work than it has been in the past, and I don't know why. And it's interesting because the technology that we're using is still just, good old technology. It's not anything, super bad.
Super bad.
You remember the movie?
That was a good movie bad. Good movie bad.
But
holy cow.
It's been an interesting. So we missed a show. I mean, that's how busy we've been.
Well, and that's what really is telling about how nuts the start of this particular school year has been. We went a little over 2 years solid without missing a beat, and for whatever crazy reason this year, we've missed I think a couple now, or
yeah,
I don't know.
We missed enough.
Strange, but we're not going to miss too many more, and you guys don't have to miss us because anytime we're recording, you just find us on SoundCloud or online somewhere.
At the iTunes. You can also catch us on iTunes.
The iTunes.
So, yeah, you always check out SoundCloud. SoundCloud.com/EduTechGuys. You can find all of our episodes, all the previous 2 years, and all the new season coming up. Good stuff. Hey, listen, you can always bring the EduTech Guys to your place. You can always find out if we're going to be near you and have us come and talk to you, all your good stuff. So, be our guest, or actually, what do we call it? We call it Reach Out to Us. This is it right here.
Thanks for listening to EduTech Guys. Reach out to us on Twitter @EduTechGuys. Head over to Facebook, facebook.com/EduTechGuys, or cruise on over to the website, www.edutechguys.com.
There you go. Absolutely. And I tell you what, since we're talking about that, I'm going to move things around just a hair before we get into our topic of discussion. Just to remind you, we are going to be at the TCCA conference in Houston, Texas in October, and AESA conference in San Antonio in December, and then in January,
FETSI
2018
2018 in beautiful Orlando, Florida.
Beautiful, especially in January. That's the place to be, man.
As the weather's going now, we've got we've had some hurricanes. We had a hurricane hit Harvey hit Houston, and they're still recovering. They're at the beginning stages of recovery. Mm-hmm. And now the first Cat 5 on record this strong in the Atlantic heading towards Florida.
Yeah, it's a
So
crazy.
I hope
crazy.
everything's okay there. Because,
are definitely our thoughts and prayers out to everyone that's been affected. And then you have the other extreme where you have like the crazy wildfires going on in Montana, and they just got done battling one in Los Angeles.
1 million acres. 1 million acres have been burned. But maybe it's us. We're going to Houston, and a hurricane hits there, and we're going to Orlando, and a hurricane's going to hit there.
But we're not going to Montana. So maybe it's just the hurricanes. It's
just a lot of blowhard hot air.
Well,
they're prepping them for us.
We're bringing that for sure.
Hey, topics today. The topic today. I've been reading Dave Burgess's "Teach Like a Pirate" just to refresh myself, on that stuff. And I was thinking about student engagement, and we were talking about student engagement, and it's that time of year when you are out there trying to figure out how to get your students engaged and get them excited about classroom work and all that good stuff. So that's what we thought we would talk about today. It's a little bit, not a lot, just about student engagement and what we know about it. And one of the things that we do know about it is using podcasts in the classroom. And podcasting in the classroom is a really big deal, and it's a great way to engage students.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's like Jeff said, that's one of the things that we love to bring into schools and to help teachers and students get their message out and share their voice with folks and be able to tell their story and keep them engaged. Especially, there's something about having microphones and equipment and all that stuff just kind of sitting around the table, and instantly the students gravitate right to it. Oh, what's this do? Let me check this out. I want to see what that does. Let me try, And then of course there's the inevitable you record them and then turn around and play it back for them. And then of course you get the reaction, well, that I don't sound like that. That's not what I sound like. That's not me. What is that? And so then you go through that whole conversation about, that actually when you play yourself back, from a recording, that is how you sound to other people. So it's always fun for the kids, man. It's really cool.
And that's really interesting you say that. And what's interesting about doing podcasts that we find is that when you get in the classroom and you start doing the podcast, or when you get in the middle of a show, and then you realize that it's not just about the audio. It's not just about the microphones. It's about everything that has to go along with that, including the writing and the scripting and the research that needs to go into it. And so that's a great way to engage a lot of kids. A lot of kids want to be the producer and don't want to be the one in front of the camera or behind the microphone. They want to be the ones running the audio, or maybe writing the script, or writing the copy. And maybe they're the ones that want to do the promotion for it. And doing a podcast in this day and age is all about social media promotion, and even in the old sense of the words, because you can't go to a school today without walking down the hallway and seeing a poster sign. So kids still make posters, and that's still a great way to engage kids. So podcasting in the classroom is a lot like anything else. You can find multiple avenues in it to get that stuff out there. I think there is.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's and we like to talk about podcasting, but there are lots of other ways, of course, that you can have keep your students engaged. In fact, when we were talking about this earlier, and I came back after our discussion a little before the show started, and was doing some poking around and checking some things out. And there's a really cool article on Edutopia, and we'll tweet out the link, about what students say they want in terms of student engagement. We have our ideas, but we're the grown-ups. So, as far as kids are concerned, they think we're clueless. So what's really cool is these folks actually went to the students. And so these are some of the things that the students came up with. Working with their peers keeps them engaged. So, when they're working with their buddies, working with their friends, group work, or even if they kind of pair off and work in pairs. But still, the idea is that they're not solitary beings sitting at the desk. They're actually, working together.
Exactly. And the fun part of it, too, is the setup. Is, when you get ready to design where you're going to be working from. Yeah. If you've got that space in your classroom. Talking about that, I know a lot of people have set up Flipgrid studios in their classroom.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I want to give a little shout out to Flipgrid. What a neat piece that is. I mean, the ability to have these conversations with video, you know, and answer questions and put up entire projects using Flipgrid.
Yeah.
Same thing. Still got to be prepped. Flipgrid is a lot more kind of, in my opinion, just the way that it's being used, a singular for individual use. Like, you know, it's great for a teacher to pose a question in video and then each of the students take their device and then reply with a singular video.
Sure.
Now, you can do it in any way you want to. I mean, you can do it with groups and stuff like that. But that's a really neat way to engage a lot of kids, because if they know that that it's going to be just them doing that reply, then it might turn out a little different for you. You know, it might be kind of cool.
Yeah.
So,
well, and then on the other side of that, once the students have their Flipgrid videos posted, you know, it can be opened up so that the students can go and view each other's responses, which I think is very cool, because that can even open up more dialogue and result in even more engagement from that end, from that side of things. So very, very cool.
Yeah. Along that same line is Buncee, and Buncee's a really neat, you know, a presentation tool that's got some really great stuff for presentation. So you get that mixed in there with it, and then all of these things lend themselves to video podcasting, which is, you know, if you're watching this on YouTube right now, then you know that's kind of what we're doing. We're using a Mevo multi-camera setup to, you know, so you can see both of us,
right,
and we can do multiple shots and tight shots and all that kind of stuff to give it a real neat look. But using something like Buncee and Flipgrid, you can start to mix the media and really get some really cool stuff that your kids would really engage the entire classroom. And I think that's the real key there, is trying to engage every kid in the classroom on their level.
Yeah, exactly. And in a way that appeals to each individual student collectively, which I know kind of sounds contradictory, but really that's really what you're trying to do. You know, you're trying to reach each student wherever they are, however they prefer gaining information and learning from whatever the content is, how they like to learn personally, but within the group setting of the classroom. So all of this ties into one of the other things that those students said they wanted, and that was working with technology. You know, there's no denying that students today, you know, I hate using the phrase digital natives, but I don't have another one, so there you go. But I mean, really, you're talking about students who have not generally known a world without some kind of advanced technology in their classroom. I mean, look, generically speaking, technology in the classroom, I've always had kind of an issue with that, because, you know, we had film strips and overheads and, you know, slide projectors and the old, was it 8mm films or whatever. That was technology, but, you know, not the way we think of technology today.
Exactly.
So, you know.
Yeah. And what's interesting about all this is that it's really about using technology and connecting real world to the classroom.
Yeah.
And, you know, so we talk a lot about student voice, and there's multi-tiers to student voice. And one of those things about it, if you can engage your students so that you can get that real student voice, you can get really their voice, and they share their stories and they share their voice, their real voice with you in the classroom, then you've really opened up the avenues for education. You've really opened up the avenues for learning. You've really kind of cleared up some stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, how many times, I think back to when we were in school, and how many times were we in class and we were learning something, and that was the question that inevitably someone or someones would have is, when am I ever going to use this in my real life? How does this apply to my real life? And of course, in those days, it was essentially, you know, shut up, kid, you have to learn this. I mean, it really was.
Exactly.
You know, hey, that's the way it was.
Yeah.
You know, where today, that's still the question, but now you, as an educator, you're expected to have that answer. How does the Pythagorean theorem tie into what I'm doing day to day?
Yeah. Yeah,
You know?
and that's
Oh, well, you play basketball, right? Oh, there you go.
right.
I mean, you know, or you're going to build a tree house, or you're going to do whatever.
Right. And you know what's really interesting? Just turning in homework, just turning in paperwork, really it's hard for a teacher to know when the students are engaged that way. just getting a one-dimensional piece, it's hard to tell that. Now, it's what's great about doing what we're doing now in technology, with video and audio and digital presentation and everything that we're doing. It gives you the ability to go back and I'm going to use air quotes here, reread, that homework or rewatch that homework and really take notes on those individual students and really get an insight on what they're saying and what they're doing and the body language involved in there and to find out if those students are engaged. I mean, that's one way, that's a handful of ways to find out, what they're doing.
Yeah. And one of the big ones on the list, or at least to me, it was one of the big ones, was the students. It's very important for students that the teachers show that they love what they're doing. And to me, that is huge. This is the students saying, if you're in there rolling your eyes and you're huffing and you're puffing and you're just meh, 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 they can't stand that. They want to see that you are just as excited to teach them as they are supposed to be in learning it. And so I thought that was really, really key. We all have our off days. We all have our bad moments. We all have things that go wrong. Today's a great example here on the show.
What can go wrong?
Exactly. But ultimately, though, at least hopefully, we're able to convey that, frankly, we love doing this. We love sharing with you guys. We love hopefully giving you something that makes you kind of go, oh, aha, I hadn't thought of that before. Same thing with educators in the classroom. Students want to know, they want to see that you are as excited to be there as you want your students to be.
Exactly, and that's the key right there. Yeah. That's the key. Yeah. And the beautiful part of this is that once they do their videos, then they can go back and present them to the class and present them to the school and share them to the school. Our podcasts are the same way. So this is it's a across the board sharing and across the board finding out what's going on and that people care and want to hear it, want to see what they're producing.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's really pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yep. So there it is. We're cutting down the format a little bit, and I really don't have much more to say about what we just said. I mean,
I don't really either. Other than I just wanted to. I know some folks maybe. So we've talked about student engagement, but I know some folks may be out there thinking, okay, well, that's all fine and good, but how do I know if my students are engaged? What does that look like? What does student engagement look like when I'm standing in the classroom, or if I'm facilitating? Maybe we're doing sort of a flip thing, or they're working on some kind of a problem-based, project-based learning project, problem, what have you. So how do I know they're engaged and they're not just hanging out doing nothing?
Right.
And so there's a different article, and again, we'll tweet that out as well. And it talks about things like if it's a teacher-led environment where it's where the teacher is the one leading the discussion, the instruction, then are the students paying attention? Can you look around the room and see that they are actually paying attention to what you're saying? Are they taking notes and taking real notes? Are they actually taking notes? Are they asking questions? Are they responding appropriately? Those types of things. And then if it's student-led, where the students are working together, how are they presenting? Are they presenting? Are they explaining? Are they problem-solving? Are they interacting with other students? There's a whole list of things. And again, we'll tweet that out and put that on the Twitter feed so you guys can check that out. And that way, especially if you're someone who's kind of new to the idea of student engagement, or maybe you're new to education and you're trying to figure all this out and put all these pieces together, herd all these cats, then maybe some of those things will help you in your classroom.
Yeah. And truthfully, you'll know when they're engaged just by the look on their face.
I think so too. I think that's a big way to tell.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
Hey, awesome, tell you what, let's listen to a little music.
Cool.
How about a little Nick C, Completely Yours?
We'll take it.
Awesome. You're listening to the EduTech Guys, come to you live.
lost my mind. I think a bright moonlight and a glass of wine and slow dancing on the beach to our favorite song. And if nobody's looking, we can get it on. But I know we have just begun, and I'm glad that we can give it a chance. 'Cause ain't no better feeling out than falling in love. My heart is like a stone. My heart is not my own. I'm completely yours. I'm completely yours. I'm completely yours. I'm completely yours. It's the diamond in your eyes when you look at me. The way my hair stands up when I hear you speak. The way my legs turn rubber when you love me down. I said, hey, little lover, can you hear me now? Well, I know we have just begun, and I'm glad that we can give it a chance. 'Cause ain't no better feeling out than falling in love. My heart is not my own. It's sinking like a stone. I'm completely yours. 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 I'm completely yours.
Yeah, music from Nick C. Completely yours here on EduTech Guys Radio.
Hope you liked it. Like some
Man,
Nick C.
I'd love me some Nick C.
We listen to a lot of Nick C, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Hey, listen, if you're an artist or a band person or you know any music you'd like to hear on here, in fact, if your high school band is getting their marching show ready right now,
Yeah.
send it to us. We'll play it on the show.
That
I
would be
love me some
awesome.
marching band music too. So, got your fight song out there, any of that stuff you'd like to hear, just hit us up on Twitter or catch us at www.edutechguys.com or just write Jeff at edutechguys.com or David at edutechguys.com.
Awesome.
And guess what time it is?
It's time for the Google Tip of the Week.
Today's Google Tip of the Week, it comes straight from Google. And,
Hey, straight from the horse's mouth.
straight from Google for Education blog.
Nice.
That's at blog.google, and it's education. So there's his welcome to your first day of classroom. So Google just wanted to say that, they launched it. It's hard to believe it was 2014. So it's only been around, this is its third year. So, that's pretty interesting.
It
It
just
seems like it's older than that.
yes,
doesn't
it does. That's what my brain locked up because I'm like, really? It's only been 3 years. Wow, it feels like it's been a
So
tool
really
we've
this
had
is
forever.
its fourth year.
Well, okay,
but
technically.
So
Sure.
But yeah, so they've been around since 2014, and they wanted to share just a huge outpouring of instructional videos, blogs, and resources. They've curated them all together, and it's a collection called hashtag First Day of Classroom.
Cool.
So it's pretty neat. They've got tons of stuff there. We'll share the article from Google so you can see all the good stuff there. But that's a great place to find out about some stuff there. And also on that page is some printable resources like getting started guide and group study guides and stuff like that are available. And so the other thing on there is about teachers have questions and teachers have answers. So they've listed some really great people out there like Lindy Hockenberry and Katie Nieves and Jessica Levine. They're all people that have some stuff. They do a lot of tips from their resource hub. So they're there to answer your questions and tell you about what's going on. And you can also join that community by going to Twitter and using the hashtag First Day of Classroom. So that's some pretty cool stuff.
That's some very cool stuff.
Google keeping it real, man.
Keeping it.
Keeping it lit, as the kids say.
Yes, they do.
Boy, I'm getting old. Keeping it lit. That's good stuff. So there's the show today. Hope you had a great time. Remember, always get in touch with us on Twitter. We're out there. Visit the other folks that are out there that have some great EduTech blogs and podcasts that are running out there.
Well, and speaking of that, I'm glad you brought that up. Real quickly, when you visit us on Twitter, be sure to check out our followers and the people we follow because they are other educators, edutech folks. They're going to be wonderful people that you're going to want to get connected with, and so that you can turn around and follow them and keep up with what's happening in education technology.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So, hey, great show. I'm Jeff Madlock.
I'm David Henderson.
We'll catch you next time.
You've been listening to EduTech Guys Radio, radio.edutechguys.com.
The opinions expressed on the site and its programs are those of participants and not intended to and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of any specific educational entity, sponsor, company, state, or government agency.